I'm gonna be mother.
Okay.
You know, that's like that means I'm gonna serve you. So this is your peach tea.
Lena Horne introduced me to peach tea.
Really?
Yeah, she used to make it herself.
But I heard you like it iced. Oh, well, thank you.
But
I appreciate it. Look at this.
It magically appears.
Look at this service, right? I mean, this is amazing.
My
Here we go.
goodness.
Look at that. Cheers. Okay, what are you doing the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night?
Well, I can't. The first thing in the morning, which depends on which morning I think, I really keep the news on all the time. I keep Perry Mason and Murder, She Wrote and Columbo on. I love them. So I wake up,
and then at night, that's what's the last thing you do?
I turn on Perry Mason. And
that's you end the night with a nice like crime drama.
Yeah, and then I go to sleep, and then I troll the Instagram.
Oh, you do the doom scrolling at night.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When did you become a queer icon? Like when did you?
I didn't know it was queer, because I don't think it's queer. I don't think it was queer. I just be me, you know.
Yeah.
And no, you know, like if people say to me, "Oh, I heard you were gay," if somebody else, "Oh, I heard you like golden showers with your wife," you know, I mean, you're talking about something that's, you know, you do behind closed doors. And in this business, you know, nobody. I think, for me, I think with your sexual preference, shouldn't become political.
Yeah.
And I think it's like racism or. Not racism, it's like, oh, I didn't get the job because I'm gay. I didn't get the job because I'm fat. I didn't get the job because I'm black. I didn't get the job because I'm not pretty enough. I didn't get the job because my nose is too big. So you're already setting up yourself for defeat. You're not presenting your best self.
Yeah.
So I was raised that way.
Well, you always have this amazing ability to, they say that like what you're thinking about and what's happening in your head is actually presented to the other person, right? And you're kind of like,
I don't think about it. I really don't think about it because I can't stop how they feel. I learned, my dad told me early on when I was like 6 years old, he said, always think about yourself. He said, because in life, people will say two things to you. People who are closest and love you and supposed to be your ride or die would say, if you love me, you'd let me go.
Yeah.
And if you love me, you wouldn't leave me. And so that's how I, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of protecting yourself.
It's always about them.
Yeah.
If you love me, you let me go because they want to go.
Yeah.
And if you love me, you wouldn't leave me because they don't want you. They didn't care how you felt.
Who taught you to walk into a room like you own it? Which you do every time I see you. You're like.
I think because. That's a great question because I don't think I do that.
Oh,
I don't think I do that.
You walk into a room and everyone's like, "What?" Like they're running after you. You own the room. It is so.
I think because I care about people.
Yeah.
You know, like I know about you, and I care about. I don't go in the room thinking what people think.
Yeah.
I just know if I come as my authentic self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
I didn't know I'd walk into a room.
You do. Talk us through what you're wearing today. What is this?
Oh my God!
I love this.
Let me tell you something. It's been 10 degrees. I didn't know what to wear. So I'm like, okay, just let me. I don't have a full-length mirror in my house, believe it. So I said, I'll wear my Smash hat. Well, this is part of my fur line, but this was in my Smash. Remember I was in the Smash?
Oh, yes.
So I wear my Smash hat so you can identify that.
Right, so we know
I have on, my Uniglow.
Yeah, for warmth.
We love you, Uniglow. Yeah. And this is leather. Remember when they had the stores in between the theaters, between the
in Times Square?
It wasn't in Times Square. It was like on 47th Street, in between.
Oh, those little fashion stores.
So I bought everything. I bought Rebecca Gold one. All these. You always see me,
Oh my God, this is so.
Yeah. I bought them. I bought that. I bought it in blue. I bought Rebecca Gold, and then I'm wearing, $7.99 pants. And then,
it's kind of like an army fatigue look. It's
and then
fabulous.
Remember what's his name? The Kelly. What's his name? Remember he was the vintage guy everybody was wearing.
Ed Hardy.
Remember Ed Hardy?
Boots. Yeah,
I got the Ed Hardy boots. And then what was I wearing? And I'm wearing, the Hermes and stuff.
Oh yeah, we've got the.
And these are all gifts from people who love me dearly.
It's so funny. You have such a unique sense of style, and I've always loved that about you. It is clearly part of who you are as fashion. Like, when did you first realize that it could be a source of power?
Well, my mom, and godmother, the people from the church, everybody dressed like that, and I knew, and also too, honestly, I knew, when you're a person of color, or when I started this business, I can't go in with well, first I wouldn't go in with jeans and stuff, I can't just go in and you have to, people listen to you.
Yeah.
I mean, people listen to you. And when I was on the road all this time, trying to sell the show. But I've always dressed nice.
Yeah.
I've always done.
It's like a costume, right?
It's a costume.
How would you describe your sense of style?
I feel it. It's always in the head because I feel it. If I put on, I don't even, like I said, I get dressed in the bathroom mirror and then I go downstairs to my lobby because they have a full-length mirror.
And you're like, I hope I got it right.
No, I'm just looking at it, but if I don't feel it, and I don't like to be matchy.
Yeah, no, I
don't like to be. I just have to feel it.
Yeah,
I don't have a sense of style. I have a sense of. Yeah, I guess I do have a sense of style. But I don't think about it.
Did it get refined later? Were you like when did the fur? Because you love
I was
furs.
a hippie. Well, because
when did that happen?
That happened. I got my first fur. My mom and my mom. I was born in Westbury, Long Island. My father was one of the first black families to settle there in 1935. My godfather was a groom on the Fifth Estate. My mom was a domestic on the Fifth Estate in Westbury. So there was only 10,000 people. So my sense of style came from her coming home, say, buy one good piece or whatever. Yeah, so I guess I learned that.
Like you would have like a really good dress and a really good
like
cardigan and a really
Goodman and Biddell's and Arnold Constable,
and then kind of switch out and pattern. Yeah,
I just think it's looking nice because everybody looking like all my friends look nice.
Yeah,
the friends that I like.
Well, yeah, I can talk a lot about this.
I am a snob about that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because
how did you go from the girl from Long Island to...
I went to NYU in 1961.
Wow.
And I had a letter of credit from Mr. Phipps because there was no credit cards and there was no, affirmative action. There was nothing of that. And it was $85 a credit then. That's why I met Shelley, Fireman. We were all hippies in the village. So I went there. I wanted to write Nancy Drew books because I was really a nerd. I would write 7 books. I still do that. I would read 7 books, 3 books at once.
Oh my God.
Always. I still do it. So I wanted to write Nancy Drew books, but they were already written. That's why I can't write a press release now. I'm traumatized. Yes. Because that old bitch that went to City College said, "Oh yeah, you'll never be there. Nancy Drew books." I said, "Oh my God." So then that was in the village.
Yeah.
And so I left after 6 weeks. And you know how young I look now. Can you imagine at 16 I looked 12 years old.
Oh my God.
And Lolita had just come out. So I had all the 47-year-old German men after me.
Yeah.
So I was a hippie in the village because my dad said, they weren't going to give me any money. So I said, I'm just going to stay here. Because I had never been, my parents were 40 years old when they had me. I was never allowed to come to the city except on class trips. So when I went to the village, it was like, whoa, I was a wild woman.
So wait, is that when you found the theater? Like when did the theater happen?
The theater, that happened. That would never happen.
Really?
I believe in education, but staying in school for 4 years is not it. Because you know how many people graduate? 20,000 people from the schools, they got the real schools like NYU, and then they got the schools you watch when you're watching Perry Mason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can be a medical technician.
Right. You just put it on the videos, right? Well, now there's like the YouTube.
But
everyone learns everything.
So
on YouTube.
I just, but I've always been a hustler. I've been working since I was 12. And I just, you go by your instinct.
Yeah.
And what happened was when I was in the Village, there was a place called Electric Circus. I'm getting a fast first, Electric Circus, which was the Studio 54 way back when.
Oh my God.
Yes. And
so Electric Circus was before Studio 54.
Yes, it was on St. Mark's Place. And when I was, being, dancing at the tables, hanging out with Richie Havens and all that stuff, being a waitress at the Hip Bagel with Shelley Fireman. In those days, you either took acid or you took an acting class.
Those are the only choices.
And I was always not a drinker so I took an acting class. And I remember, I remember that everyone said, oh, it just takes a long time to be an actress. And this guy took me to a party, View from the Bridge. It was at 7th Avenue South. I'm glad we're having it. 7th Avenue South now, right across the street from Boots and Saddle. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's still there, right?
It's still there, but Starbucks was the old playhouse. So and then I met this casting director.
Okay. And
he said, "Would you like to be in a movie called A Man Called Adam?" I'm like, this is acting isn't so hard. I only took one class, and already I'm an extra. No, this is true story. One acting class, So fast forward, in me and my 4 roommates, there was I had Myra by that time.
Yeah.
And she was only 2, and he said he was writing children's plays for the Electric Circus during the matinees.
Okay.
So his owl was sick, and he said, "Oh, you're an actress. Can you come and play the owl?" I said, "Okay." And when I went there, I saw one of the only 3 black.
The owl.
The owl, because he was part of it. It was children's.
The children's show. Okay, great.
And he said, "Would you come and play the owl?" And there I was reunited with it was only in my graduating class there was only 3 black people, 193 people, only 3 black people. I was reunited with Fred Garrett, because he was lovers with the guy who was the general manager. I said, "Oh, how are you?" He was 20, "How are you?" Blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was like 24 or something, and 23, and he says, "Oh, I'm working with the Negro Ensemble Company." And I said, "Well, what was that?" He said, "It's a company," and he said, we're looking for, Douglas Turner Ward has these plays, and he wants to do have a resident company and stuff like that, but he wants black people, Negro people.
Yeah.
And he said, but nobody wants to be a press agent. And could you just go up and I hadn't seen him in 4 years. Can you just go up and do the interview? Because if not, we're going to have to hire a white person. We didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. I said, "Oh, that's okay. I will do that." And so I went to Howard Atlee, and it was in the Sardi's building.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to get the job. So I interviewed him. So that's how it started, just by being at the right place, And I'm still doing the same thing. Politics, prostitution, and public relations. The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps. That's what it is.
It feels like
that's what it is.
That is. And now producing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so.
Politics, public relations, and pimping. Same thing. What's the difference?
Oh my God. You said that being a press rep is like a governess. And
yes.
Because it's like, talk to me, you're.
Yeah, you get to spend expense accounts.
Yeah.
You can spend other people's money.
Yeah.
You get to, make decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get to hobnob, whatever, but it's not yours.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a Nepo baby. It's not yours. It's your parents'.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And
yeah.
I think people, I may have changed, but service never changes.
Yeah.
But you have to be servicing. You don't know who's going to, you got to be nice to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
And you never know. Yeah, if you're happy with yourself, then I think you can do that. Yeah. But it's his job. Because here's the thing about being a PR person and marketing person. Say, for instance, if you want Saturday Night Live, one of the 8,000 producers, we got 3,400.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law's cousin's nephew lives down the street in Boca from the producer of Saturday Night Live. And why don't we get on that?
Yeah.
No, we know. And then, so if you get on that, then it's my cousin. And if you don't get on that, you're not doing. You're
not doing your job.
Yeah, you're not doing your best. Yeah, it's always something.
So when did you decide? You're like, did it happen organically that you became
Yeah,
a
I didn't know what I
producer?
was doing. No, producing is that. I think anyone can be a producer if you have the cash.
Oh.
See, but here's the thing for me. I think because I didn't really. I work with Jeffrey Richards all this time.
Legend.
But the thing is that I think if it's a African American show, if I have the word producer, two things, I can do what I want.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask permission.
Right.
And I know how to community influences and stuff.
Yeah.
And then if I am trying to raise some money or trying to get the group, it's like, well, I'm a producer. And to see somebody like me,
Yeah.
So I like to have my name on it, on certain things.
Yeah. And
my name is on Ganglaring and Garage and all that stuff, so it's not,
Do you feel like there's...
I'm only concerned about black people, Jim. I don't care about, I really am. No, I'm just saying.
Because you were doing this when no one else, you were the only black press agent at PAM, correct?
Still, for over 50 years.
50 years.
Still, it was like when I said it, it was like, but like, come on, this is true. It's not even only black, but it's not about, it's about being black, but because, it's nice, it looks good on the press release.
Yeah.
But the point is, what show runs 3 years? See, when we were Negro Ensemble Company, we were on a large contract.
Yeah.
So you have, see, that's the thing. What show runs 3 years? You have to apprentice to.
Yeah.
So, but who wants to make $65 a week?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more, and then most people, they just think I look good and hand out tickets.
Yeah.
They don't know it's work.
It's a lot
I was
of
on the phone with Debbie Allen this morning, and this one, and Woody came. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You're on the phone all the time.
And then you say, well, why did you? I mean, a typical example. Why, I don't want to say that, but these shows that they wonder why they closed, like the two people that was baking the cake that walk across the street. What show was that? What show was that?
Too strange.
Yeah, with a cake. I was like, I saw it on I thought it was like one of those skits, because I was in Times Square on my, coming from Sephora, and it says, two strangers holding a cake, opening that theater no name should be nameless. What is? And then they wonder why the shit's down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cute show.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is that like when
but
you
the
work
point
as a
I'm trying to
press rep,
say, they'll say things like, "Oh, well, it's the pandemic." Oh, well, what are they saying now? Well, people are afraid to come up because of ice. Oh, well, you'll make excuses. No, the people above the title can't sell a ticket.
Yeah. No.
And I voiced that opinion.
Yeah. Well, you've went into communities. I
learned that from being on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, you're always there in doing stuff with Harlem Week, doing stuff within the communities.
Yeah.
Your list, and honestly, we've been in a lot of marketing meetings together, and like,
and I'd be telling everybody.
Irene's list comes in this long with this church, this group,
and
this book club.
partnered with New York Roadrunners.
Yeah.
Because when they ran through the churches in Harlem, all of that.
It takes a lot of work. I mean,
it takes a lot of people guilt tripping too.
Guilt tripping. You're like, please come and do this. You have to do this for me. You got a big Tony Award.
Yeah, that's the
was
lifetime
for your
achievement,
lifetime work. And that is
and that wasn't because of George Floyd either, because those things are decided. But it was so funny because Charlotte St. Martin it's the first time that everybody agreed unanimously who got the awards. But the thing is, it was so crazy because I don't know how to lie. So I know how to lie, but I know how to lie but for me, because I'm not used to being in front of the camera.
On the side of the camera.
Yeah, and everyone kept asking me, so I had to talk to Frank DeLella. I'm like, because everyone was saying, oh, how did it feel as a black person 50 years? But I'm like, I don't know, I'm just working, taking care of my kid, buying my Louis Vuitton bags, but I can't say that because people don't want to hear that. Thank you, Frank DeLilla, told me just say theater is challenging on all fronts.
Yes. Talk to me about August Wilson. So,
oh my God,
how did this? You've had a long relationship with
I had a
August.
long relationship with August. He didn't care whether his plays were produced in churches, in the basement, or in this room.
Yeah.
he was such a mild-mannered, and again, he had his teacher told him, "Where did you copy this play from?" Yeah.
What?
Yeah. August Wilson is one of the greatest playwrights of everything he's written, Jim of the Ocean and all of that. I was with Felicia Rashad yesterday because we had a photo shoot. And one of my favorite plays.
The Chocolate Swan.
Not the Chocolate Swan. And then I loved her in Jim of the Ocean, but we talked about August and how he did the research, and I was proud of where he came. And he was kind of like a modern day like Lorraine Hansberg, because you saw black families. You had an insight. You know, everybody wasn't in the cotton field. You know.
Yeah.
I mean.
Did he start? How did he? I saw an interview where he would start with a line, like a line would hit him, and then build from that.
Yeah, I mean, he just did it as he went along. And one of the great things that I loved about him, because we used to get drunk and drink at the Edison. You know the Rum House?
Yes.
Remember that?
The Rum House.
Remember,
yes.
You weren't here when the old Polish lady was the old Polish girl. She used to sing at the piano bar. Oh my God! It was like
that was the '90s, right?
Yes, it was like being on Marie Christo, Christos.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the Rum House is.
Yeah. Because they used to have people come up, and I remember because I don't know what show it was, and we were sitting there because he didn't have tickets. It was Karen Schoenfeld show. What's it? Carol from. I forgot. And so we were sitting there because I was still drinking then and bumped my nose into the revolving door because I thought it was revolving. It was
just a push. Oh my God.
So we were laughing, talking, but I always like August, and I live by this, and I want you to live by this too, Jim, and who's ever in this room. When people try to make you say, oh, here's some notes for you, and what he said, and I'll never forget, where were you when the page was blank? You got
the art of creation and just making it is the hardest part. Yeah. So, but you were very protective of him too, because you would work with him. You were a friend, but you were also press, and you were protective. Like, why did you feel that?
Because when people don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. Like, I'm not about to push it into the paper. Yeah. You know, and sometimes when you're in situations, you know, you think you have to do this because you don't have to do this. Yeah. You know, because I remember working at Glass Menagerie, and one of the 914 producers, you know who I'm talking about, Zachary Quinter was in there, and I don't know, I'm just making, and that was when Instagram and posting first came out. Yeah. And she was like, "Why don't you have Zachary Quinter? Zachary needs to post." And Zachary said, "I'm not posting shit." Yeah. That's what he said. So every time I go into the meeting, I say he's not posting. So finally I said, "Zach, can you just do me a favor? I'm going to have this meeting, because every time I tell them," because she says, "You must not be telling him right. Are you sure you're asking him?" I said, "Zach, please call us before I hurt this bitch." That's what I said. That's why I don't go to meetings anymore. And he said, "Okay, I'll call in." So he calls in. I said, "Zach's on the phone. Hi everybody." He said, "Hi." And I said, "Zach," said, "Okay, this is blah, blah, blah." And the 914 producer said, "Hi, I was making sure that you should post. I was asking you to post." He said, "Oh, I don't mind posting if you don't mind doing my 8 performances a week."
He is hot.
And you see, because Zach, we can do that, and see, August was allowed to do this, because you know we're brought up in a culture in our house. You know, be careful what you say. Yeah. Don't make any ruffles with the white man. You should be happy you're there. You know all that. That's what we were brought up with. I wasn't brought up with that, but I didn't. You know, but that's what you brought up with. So you think, well, I don't, because if people love you, I mean, if they paying you, that means you're doing the work. Yeah. And you don't have to. You have a choice. Right. I have not worked on Broadway. That's crazy. I have never been out of a job. Even when the pandemic, when Broadway closed down, I was teaching white people how to talk to black people.
Yeah. And we were doing the streaming shows.
Yeah.
Remember?
Remember?
Yeah.
But I was saying, don't tell it to me. You tell it to your therapist about, you didn't know it. I said, I've been a person in the rooms sometimes. And then I would write them little stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to be committed after this? Are you going to be like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, tell me the money. And then I talk nice to them until the 5 minutes, and then I tell them what I really thought about them. I'm so out of control. I did. So I was making,
What do you think is harder? Is it
keeping
harder
my mouth shut? Oh my God.
What's harder, managing artists or producers?
I don't know. See, producing is not like you see on TV and the old movies.
Yeah.
And
like
I don't. I don't.
Not like that.
The artists. I remember when we did Race with. Carrie was in it.
Carrie Washington.
Richard Thomas and James Spader.
Yes.
Now James Spader was in promoting was a Law and Order and something, and I met him at the Good Morning America show. We were going to another place, and I was like, I don't know you, and I don't know you, and you don't know me, and it's too early to have some small talk. So let's just sit here. Yeah, I mean, cause what am I going to say? I didn't know him, and I was hungover. Hi, I loved you, and
yeah, let's just get to know each other.
We will do it another time.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
And we just cracked up.
I want to talk about Bob Fosse.
Oh my God,
what happened?
I was on the road with all the shows with Sweet Charity.
Yeah.
That's when he passed away. And we were at the National Theater.
Okay.
He didn't want critics in. So me and Alma, who was the national person for the press at the National Theater, we were saying, oh my God, David Richards came the night before. I'm like, oh, don't worry about him. Nobody's going to know. And then we were saying, oh my God, he's so unbearable. We said, well, at least when he's dead, we don't have to worry about him. That's what we said. This is the middle of the afternoon. So she went over to the Ebbets Grill to get the party together. And I got this call from this production stage manager. She said, Irene, you better get back here immediately. I said, oh shit. He found out that David Richards has come.
Oh.
Because that's what I thought.
He found out.
I thought. But what happened was, if anyone has ever seen Gone with the Wind when Butterfly McQueen says she's nothing about babies and just walking along that white picket fence, this was me. Walking along slowly back, slowly back. I don't know nothing about Dave Richards coming to opening night. And everybody was crying and he had passed away. So I called Alma, who's over there setting up. I said, Alma, I'm hysterically laughing because we were just saying that we don't want to have to deal with him. I said, Alma, Bob Fosse's like I'm doing. Bob Fosse's dead. She said, stop it. I said, no, Alma, he's really dead. So what I did, because I couldn't announce Bob Fosse well, first of all, it was a Jewish holiday, and there was no Instagram, nothing.
You had to wait
and the
for
Jews
the
wouldn't pick up the phone,
Yeah.
the producers, because I can't make those decisions.
Yeah.
So the producers wouldn't pick up the phone because it was holy holiday.
Yeah.
Cy Coleman did all of the talking, but what I did, I had to call Brian Gombo and said, Brian, you need to hold this and make an announcement.
Wait, he was one of the most famous reporters of the time.
I said, Brian, this motherfucker has died in Washington, D.C., a Broadway legend. He ended his death. I said, please, I'm giving you exclusive when you come here. And so that's when it was announced.
And then it was announced.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
But see, that's thinking off your feet. That's you have to do that. And thank God all the outlets were there. Yeah. I have a clip to have. I keep that little tape to remind me.
Oh, you have the actual reporter of him announcing it. That is that is some
12 o'clock
tea. I can't. But honestly, you have so many stories like this. It is unbelievable.
And he was not only my Death Star. Vincent Gardenia. Remember that show, Breaking Legs?
Yes.
Okay, we were on the road. Okay, I love Vincent.
You were on the road?
Yes.
You were on the road a lot.
Yeah, because I had the daughter to pay for.
Yeah.
I love this tea. This is hot tea.
Wait, here we go.
Okay, so Vincent, every time we go in, he would make spaghetti and all that. He was wonderful, but he was, what do you call it, when you hike, when you don't like, when you're closed in?
Claustrophobic.
Yes,
yeah.
Because his family was opera singers, and they would put him in the closet because they didn't have a room.
For him to sing?
No, he wasn't singing, but he was a little boy, but they only could have one room, and they put him in the...
Like a Harry Potter,
I never, yeah. So anyway, so he was claustrophobic. So, but he was always wonderful, and he met this woman in Trenton, and he liked her, and he started exercising and all that stuff, and then I guess he had a heart attack. So we were staying in this hotel in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, you know, he was starved as a commish, moonstruck had just got him. So we were standing, and we had an early morning interview, because he always early, and he wasn't answering his phone. And in this hotel, you had to call the operator to get the number. You just couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's how it used to work.
Yes, yes. Call the operator to get the number.
To connect, yeah.
And so I kept knocking and then we finally, and I guess he had a heart attack, and he was in his boxer shorts and stuff, and he had the phone, so yeah. Meanwhile, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, we have a show to open. I was like, oh my God, another Jewish holiday.
What? Why does this keep happening on
another Jewish holiday. And then, of course, the company manager, Queens, they said, well, let's have cake, because nobody knows what to do, but you have to think. You have to think on your feet. So meanwhile, I'm telling, okay, so the detectives come. They see me, because I'm in charge, and I'm the one who discovered the body. And they're questioning me. I'm thinking they want to know what's going on. Then I'm thinking, they think I was a hooker. Because then they put me in another room. So I had to call. I'm like, you motherfuckers think I'm here, but we have a show to do. So I had to call the manager of the Nixon Theater and say, you better tell me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So this is two.
This is
too many. That's too many. Too many. Okay, what's the recipe for balancing commercial reality and cultural responsibility?
There's none.
There's no balance.
No, there's no balance. I mean, because you may balance it, but the people you balancing ain't balancing it.
Yeah,
so you have to stay true. If you have to stay, the reason that you're still standing, I feel that we all love you, because you're always like, you've never changed. Hi.
Yes.
Hi. Here comes that happy Jim Gull. Fuck him. But at least we know, let's give Jim, at least we know we're going to be happy.
At least.
Yes, at least we're happy about that.
Yes.
You know, and so, I don't really, yeah. I mean, and also another thing I learned, let the people who be mad at you who's signing your paycheck, these other motherfuckers, if they're not signing your paycheck, they don't care.
This is great advice.
Yeah. What do you care about these people? They're not your friends.
And sometimes if you sign their paychecks, they won't listen to you. But that wasn't.
Yeah, they never. Yeah, no, they don't. That's a good point, Jim. They don't listen to us.
No.
And you know, remember when I'm meeting, and they said, oh, the black people, I've been hearing the term, black people, how they come? I said, there's only 1%. My black people coming. You don't worry about my black people.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard me say that in meetings.
Yeah.
Why are you worrying about my black people?
Yeah.
We coming.
There's been a lot of.
The black people are not going to save your show.
No. They always ask too late, too, right?
Yes, because my feeling, and you can come say, I feel the most white producers that have black shows, they only want the Tony. Because I really feel that.
Wow.
I feel that.
That is.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my opinion.
Of course.
And another thing, I don't understand Black Nights. I didn't know there was a Black Night.
Oh, the Blackout Night.
Frank DeLola was talking
yes.
to me. One time, he was interviewing me. He's going to interview me again. He was like, so Irene, what do you think about the blackout dates? I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? We have blackout dates?
Yeah.
I was like, an airline? She said, no, all the black people coming to see black people only, like the slaves, remember they only, I said, you kidding? I didn't know.
Yeah, because Slave Play did this.
Why do people, when slaves want to come see, but the black people know about slaves? Unless they have some money attached, or did they buy a ticket? Why would you have a black night with black people who didn't buy a ticket to learn about what they already know? I mean, that's what I said.
I don't know.
And then I said to come for me. I mean, because I still feel that way.
Yeah.
But now it's a thing.
Yeah.
You have a black night.
It's weird.
I want a white night. Where's the white night? I want a white night. Give me a white night with black. Okay. All right.
Wait, here we go.
Here we go. Okay, be serious.
No, you do not be serious. What's a producer's job that no one prepares you for? Like, when you're doing this, like, what is the thing you were like, I had no, because you've seen it all on the press side, but as a producer.
Well, the producer, that's the thing. You just, there's certain different kinds of producers. There's like Jeffrey is one of the great gentleman producers, not because I work for Maham. There was who else? Roger, he's dead now. A lot of gentleman producers.
Yes.
And people I don't care what the people, but I like Scott Rudin because he's a producer. Because the producer has the ties with the stagehands, with the box office, with the theater owners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because it doesn't matter how much money you have if you can't get a theater if you don't know the right people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's relationships.
It's relationships.
It's about everything. It's who you know.
One of my favorite producers are the ones that.
And I like Bonnie Comley and Sue, and I love what she's doing with. And I love what she's doing with how we doing with the Drama League.
Yeah, the Drama League.
Yeah, Bonnie has been. So go ahead. What's your subject?
No, I was going to ask. It seems to be like a lot of the news, and you're a master at the press. It seems like a lot of the news is talking about like, oh, it's so hard for shows to recoup. Broadway's a failure.
What's the crapshoot?
But has it always been like this?
Yeah. See, one of the things you have to learn is you have to learn how to lose money. I mean, I don't think people should produce unless they know how to lose money. Everything is not going to be whatever. And, it's not like film business. You're not going to recoup, Look, my MJ opened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You just have to, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if you're really going to be, that's why I love Jeffrey and other people, certain people, you just have to do things that you believe in. Everything is not going to make money.
Yeah.
And you can't do with that. And I think that's what I miss about the old producers.
Yeah.
I mean, when the musicians, when everybody went on strike, Jeffrey was producing August Osage County, November, and what's the one? I forgot the one. There was another one. I forgot it. I'll think about it in a minute.
Okay.
But he kept them all open, and he kept the same cast.
Yeah.
There's not many producers that keep the same cast.
Yeah. Because the strike happened, there was a ton of time.
Yes. But
how long was that strike? It was like.
It was long.
It was like 6 months or something.
Yeah, it was really long.
Wow.
And so look at August Osage County with it won and stuff like that. Yeah.
One of the things that I've loved about you is that you are an amazing connector. You've opened doors for people. You're like introducing people. You've always been really great about that. Is that just something you've always done, or is that like something that you had to learn? Like, how did you become this amazing connector?
I just say people. I don't know. Like I talked to you. I just see people that I think that can connect. I don't think about. I don't do it to everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't think about it. I don't think about it. It's like, oh, you need to do this, and you need to meet this person.
Yeah. But if someone comes up to you, you're going to be like, oh, you need to talk to. Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
No.
People come up to me and say they used to, and then try to tell me their whole dreams. I don't care about your dreams. I want to write a whole script. Like I'm doing new works for Rose Rivers Legacy. I was there last night. This guy comes, I wrote a play 25 years ago when I was in school, and it's about. I'm like, excuse me. I don't care.
Wait, you said that to him?
I did. It's like somebody, you say, you give me a number. No, I don't want your number. If I'm at a club.
Right.
And you say, I'll give you a call. I'm like, no, I don't want your number.
Yeah.
Why should we go to that game? You'll call me. Well, I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
I'll call you. No. Save your card. Save your conversation. If you don't want to,
What is the craziest moment that you had in a press and marketing meeting?
I'm waiting for it because there's always something.
There's been some things. I've been in those rooms.
Well, they're stupid. That's the crazy. Do you know what's the craziest thing for me? Because I don't know. I'm not a techie like you young girls because I'm 82 years old. When they said, "Oh, we got,"
Can you believe 82?
This
is
like, look at this.
Amazing.
Face.
Look at stunning. I mean,
Vaseline petroleum jelly only, not KY, not P Diddy oil, petroleum jelly.
Oh God.
But anyway. The thing is, I listened to them and going about, we got 87,000 hits on let's just say, are they getting the hits for the show, or are they getting hits because of personality?
Yeah.
And they say the same thing. They be talking fast.
Yeah. How do you want people to talk about your work 50 years from now?
I just want people. I did a TED Talk, the theater TED Talk.
Yeah.
I just want people just to, never have the solution before the problem.
Yeah.
Never have the answer before the question, because you'd be saying, when she calls, I'm gonna tell her, and when he calls, you may not be gonna call, you have a whole question sitting there.
Yeah.
And don't listen to a person who's never gotten off their mama's couch and said, don't go to New York, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Look at the source.
Yeah.
And always just say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things I say, try, don't not say I'm trying and I'm trying. No, you're either doing it, don't say that. Keep that out of your head.
Yeah.
Don't say try. Because if you're trying to, and there's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as, it's like my mom, my mom knows I iron a blouse. Now, maybe it's not the way that I iron it, but if the wrinkles are out for me and I'm satisfied, that's all it needs to know.
That's all that matters.
I want people to remember me however they want to, because I won't be there. I might do a drive run. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
I don't, I want to remember me now.
Yes.
Like what you said when I walk into the room. I'm going to walk into the room now.
Yes. And own it. And you do. Okay, so what are the shows that remind you why you do this crazy work?
Glengarry Glen Ross.
Mm-hmm. Great.
All about posse shows.
Yeah. Okay.
And I love Purpose. I love Cara Young. I love the new people.
Yes.
I love
the new talent.
Yeah. Let's call it Cara. We love Cara.
We love Cara.
Because I have to ask her a question anyway. She's down there doing...
Irene Gandy.
Cara Young! I'm doing an interview, Jim Glaub.
Cara Young, it's Jim Glaub. We work together on Pearly. How are you doing, baby?
Yeah, we're doing the hot tea. Where are you?
Hot tea with friends. We're doing it, and we're interviewing.
Hot tea.
You should have Cara. It's so fun.
We're in Midtown.
How are you?
I love you.
You're in Midtown.
Was your ears burning yesterday? Me and Felicia were talking about you.
Really? How is she doing?
She's good. We did a call yesterday. Listen, I'm being the talent now. I'll call you. I'm on my way to LA tomorrow, but I'll call you from LA.
What? Okay, how long you gonna be in LA?
Oh, I'll be back on Sunday. Let's get together.
Okay, I love you. Okay, bye.
I love you more.
Love you, Cara.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're gonna play a game.
Oh yeah, I love games.
That we call sip or spill. So answer the question.
Okay.
Or sip your tea.
Okay.
30 seconds. So we gotta be quick.
Okay.
Okay, great. So you don't have, here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. You don't have to tell us why, but of all of the iconic artists and shows you've worked on, which was the hardest? She's like, nope. After you, who is the next best dressed person on Broadway?
Rick Ramirez.
Rick?
Yeah.
I totally agree. I
really love it. Yeah.
Sip or spill. Why are you the only black press agent in Atlanta?
Well, there are more now.
Okay, great.
But you have to, like I said, it's about about how the show's running that long, and now you got to take a test.
Oh, you
got to take a
test.
You had to take a test
To get in?
Yes, you have to know who Eva Heinemann is.
Oh my God. What did you...
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sip or spill. What do you think of poorly dressed people?
Oh, I don't think of them at all. Oh, I don't see them.
Sip or spill. What do you think of my outfit?
Oh, that's why we bonded. Because you on me, yeah.
We always are like...
Yeah, we're like...
We're always like, you look good, you look good.
Yeah.
Was there anything on Broadway last season that you thought, who let this open?
Well, I had a cold than most of those things. No. You know what? Because no, honestly, I go back to what August said. Where were you when the page was blank? I can't write a press release. I can't write a musical.
Yep.
So I don't have the skills. So I'm happy that anybody who has any kind of creative talent, I respect them.
Well, that's well said. Well, that was the game. You did great. You only passed on one. I want to give you something. This is for you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And you know I love a peacock.
You are a peacock.
Oh my God.
This is the...
Would you put it on my hat?
I've never pinned on a hat before, but...
We'll just keep it.
Hat.
Oh, look at this. Is perfect. I'm not taking it off.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my God. Isn't it perfect?
It's really great. And now, Steep Thoughts.
I love that. In the world that we live in, the world that we work in and live in, which I love it. I love this show business. Just be you. People are going to feel what they feel about you anyway. So unless you are enough, and it takes time to get there, you know. But most important lessons, life lessons and daily, I learned how to say no, and I don't know. Not know.
Wow.
I'll think about it. Not know. Let me see. You know.
That's profound. No, and I don't know.
Yeah, because you'll say no, and you'll say, but let me check it out. But that's in other people's mind, they already have a yes from you.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you
so much. That is beautiful.